Good folks, welcome to this live playthrough of Ardennes 44. I'm at the very start of turn 2. In fact, I've just started turn 2. I've done the artillery supply phase for the Germans. On turn 2, basically the artillery supply phase, here's the sequence of play. During this phase, you can typically flip 3 German artillery units. On the start of turn 2, special rule, you can flip 6. So I've recovered a lot of those artillery units, mainly the ones, prioritise the ones that are kind of in a good firing position. Everything you're seeing is upside down. I've set up the camera to try and give you this broad panoramic view of what's happening all over the place. It's difficult to get this full perspective, so hopefully, despite looking at things upside down, you'll get a sense of what's going on. Now, I've just been sitting here for 10, 15 minutes looking at possible German paths. And I have to say, despite having a good opening turn, the Americans really responded very quickly to shut down this any initial German opening and exploitation. Everywhere I look, there are barriers to the German advance. So over here on the south edge of the map, there are the bridges are still being repaired. You'll notice repaired bridge, repaired bridge, repaired bridge, repaired bridge. We do have, critically, the Duisburg and Gmund bridges that have been repaired. This is another special rule. They are automatically repaired at the start of this turn. So this is a path across here. However, there's a traffic jam at Duisburg, and the Americans were lucky to get their traffic marker on the Gmund bridge. And this is... What I love about this is, if you've seen my videos on the GTS Bastogne game, which is coming out hopefully 2021, it covers basically this area of fighting, and in particular the fighting around Clairvaux, Hossingen, Marnik, around here. A lot of the scenarios focus just on this initial breakthrough in this corridor, and I'm intimately familiar with the traffic jams that occur across these two bridges, so now it's sort of being simulated on a broader level in this game. What this means is that we've got, you look at the terrain here as well, these are secondary roads through forest, which cost mechanized units or vehicles 2 movement points to move through. So this, these units here, I was thinking I've already placed my night markers, I like that as well. So I kind of have these guys in reserve, ready to exploit, but they've got a movement of, let's say, 6 or 6, the arming unit there. They can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're stopping there. So they're not getting far if they go across the Gmund bridge. If they go this way, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because of these secondary roads in forests. Okay, so maybe they'll go around, but these bridges won't be repaired until the next day, which is really making me rethink this whole thing. If they try to get to this primary road, okay, they can go follow the secondary road here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's 5, 6 plus 4, and they can't make it. What else? Okay, if they try the next bridge along, this bridge here, it's still being occupied by an out-of-supply American unit. I could eliminate this, and then it's these units 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. They're almost out of movement points. So I'm thinking maybe these aren't the right guys for exploitation. Maybe I'll move these night markers over to the SS. So let's shift our attention a bit to the right. I could maybe hold some of these infantry units in reserve, or these guys here, if the Uran Bridge doesn't break. So these are the Uran Bridges. They're very light wooden bridges, and there's a special rule for this game. The first German unit to attempt to cross this bridge rolls a die. If they roll a 1 to 4, the bridge in effect breaks and is blown. So if I put something like these guys in reserve and try to cross that bridge, the bridge could be blown and I can't get across anyway. There is a massive American defensive stack here. This is a big valuable. They've got 4, 5, 6 in a village. There's 8 defense factors just here. My plan for the Germans is just to leave them and isolate them, out, circle them. But there's then a roadblock here. There's a defense stack of 4 here. There's a massive defense stack of here in Troyes here. 10 defense factors right there. You've got 6 defense factors in Clairvaux, just with that 1 armored unit. Better chances over here with 4 defense factors, but then this is incredibly difficult terrain to move through. There's a roadblock marker here with no defense in the area, but let's say this infantry want to move there. It's 1, they can't get in there because it's too many movement points. I could do tactical movement, of course. I could go 1, 2, remove the roadblock marker, then in my combat phase, but it enables the Americans to then replace it, and they could just move it down the road before that night exploitation can happen. So everywhere I look, these thinly kind of scattered American units have set up in one turn just a really nice block to these German plans. Let's shift around to the 1st SS Panzer Corps over here. We have this weak artillery out in a village. I need to double check the rules for their defense. What else? So yeah, some more weak infantry behind the line. Defense factor is 4. What I'd love to do is break open this corridor here and get to St. V. There is an intact bridge over here, so I can get to St. V, and it will have a defense factor of 5. It's a town, but I don't have many units in this area. I could bring these. There's no artillery support available to attack St. V. It'd be basically 6 on 5, 1-to-1 orders, which isn't great. Ideally, though, I shouldn't really be. I'll get to this in a moment. So around here, clearing out this road through and allowing the 1st SS Panzer Corps to move through here. Comfort Piper will activate for free during the night turn. I can think about another stack. But where? Maybe these guys all the way over here? Yeah, okay, so I'm going to place a night marker here. They're going to do something. They will activate for free because it's a Comfort Piper. These are all Comfort Piper. I can have 1 more night stack. This would be a good one because they've got a lot of movement. If I can find a way across a bridge. It's not going to be that. What are the alternatives? Getting through Dustberg and then stopping. These have low movement. These armored units cannot cross the bridge yet. It's being repaired. No sort of fast mechanized motorized units over here. So already on the 2nd turn, this game has thrown me some sort of curveballs, and I'm loving it. I'm loving kind of just looking for corridors, looking for ways to get through. Where do I place this night marker? I see my armored units down here. I'm looking at them. But these guys are all on a primary road. Maybe I'll move. I'm looking at these sort of high movement rate units. These are motorized infantry, I think. I could hold these guys in reserve and give them a special night movement, but then what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What am I going to do with these guys? Maybe I'll hold these in reserve. So, okay, so this is the other thing. Roadblocks are removed if they're occupied by enemy units. Traffic markers aren't, so I can never get rid of this. And these light woods cost vehicles 3 movement points to move through. So you've really got to focus on the roads. So even if I move through that traffic, it's 2.5. Secondary road would be 3.5, and then I can get to there basically, the outskirts of St. V. So it's not really exploitation. I am going to place this, yeah, way down here. Get these guys. It's not great, but this is how, yeah, the Americans have really shut down that first turn advance. Okay, so there's a plan. It's not a great plan. It's just bringing the first SS Corps, hoping to exploit somewhere over here. I need to then create a gap for this exploitation. And it's now the German movement phase. So we're up to here. German units can move, they can disengage, build improved positions, units can build improved positions, they can break down and so forth. And so I'm going to place the night marker, 25.3. Units are restricted in their movement. So the unit may not use tactical movement to build or use more than one movement point during this phase. So these guys can still move. They can't use tactical movement, but they may still move. Does that change my plan? So I can put a night marker on a unit. This is a lot of consideration just to place these night markers. I can place a night marker on a unit and they can still move one movement point during this movement phase. They may not attack, of course, but then they get their full movement allowance. I definitely want this big first SS, what is it? Yes, the actual first SS division stack to move. I would like these guys to move as well. This is 12th SS division. One movement point, no tactical movement. There is so much to think about. Can't move here because traffic costs make it too prohibitive. Look, I think the original plan was pretty much as good as... Oh, okay, so I wonder if I can move these guys one movement point. They're a bit closer to the bridge. What would they do then? They'd get 4 movement points, 5, 6, 7. They'd get up to there. They'd be able to exploit to hosting, which really isn't an exploitation. The bridges will be blown. Yeah, not much I can do with this big traffic marker across the bridge. And these secondary roads, which slow everything down. It's 2 extra spaces, really, is what they're getting. Actually, not even that, because that costs 2 movement points to move into. So, okay, look, that's a long time to consider just where to place these night markers. Now it's time for the Germans to move. And what I'll do is I'll shift my attention. I'll kind of move from my left to right, your right to my left, roughly. As I said, this armoured unit cannot move. They cannot cross this bridge under repair. They cannot cross an unbridged river. They can potentially move to the Gemund Bridge and move around, but by the time they get to here, next morning, this bridge will be repaired, and then they'll be behind. So they're going to wait here for this bridge to be repaired. The Volksschirmjäger, however, infantry can still move. They can do a tactical movement of 2, and they're starting adjacent to a river, so they can cross that river. They will just go 1, 2 up there. We've got these guys here. Now, this is another consideration. I could move them, well, they can't cross the army line. So they will just go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to rotate these just 60 degrees. I can move from enemy zone of control to enemy zone of control, though that puts me on the other side of the river, which gives me a, so when you're fighting across the river, you halve your combat factors. If I stay on this side of the river, I can fight with the full 5 strength. So I'll do that. What else can we do? I will push my artillery up. It's not going to do much, but they're still out of range. I will push these guys up into the forest. Now, they're infantry. They're not vehicle units, so when vehicles attack out of forests, their attack factor is halved. if they cannot enter the defender's hex. It doesn't apply to these guys. These guys will also do tactical movement. But tactical movement is basically moving 2 hexes and ignoring movement costs, I think. Now, I should also warn you, it's my first game, potentially making lots of mistakes. Yeah, you may ignore all movement point costs and move up to 2 hexes. So these guys are going to go 1, 2. Now, there's no zone of control bond. Zone of control bonds are only between 2 units with a 1 hex gap. So there's a zone of control bond here, not between here and not between here. This doesn't lock them out. This still gives them, the Americans, a retreat path. Ideally, I want to be eliminating these units, but not always feasible. They're in a village, which gives them a +2 defense, so a defense factor of 4. I'll have 11 there, so it's almost 3 to 1. Let's bring up these guys here as well. Actually, instead of doing that, I'll move these guys 1, 2 to there. They're in a forest, so they're also at 4 to 1. So I'm going to focus really on this area. This will be a 3 to 1 attack. They're in range of my Volks artillery, which will give me a 4 to 1 attack on here. This is nice. And I think I may just try to pin down the rest of these Americans. Maybe I can sort of inflict a hit on these guys here. So I might just cross the river there and bring all my fire to bear. So this will be 7, 8, 9, 13, 17 on 4, 6 to 1 with the Volkswaffe in the background there to assist in that attack there. And I do have some units down here, which I can barely see because it's below the board. And they'll just sit there, holding that road. So that is the 7th Army pretty much done. We now move to the 5th Panzer Army in the center here. And this is the corridor I need to break open. This is where I've been looking for so long. So several choices really. You can move forward, attack the Americans. They'll likely retreat, become disordered, move back and establish new defensive positions with more reinforcements arriving in the coming turn. I can look to outflank and isolate them, which I've been doing over here. You can see this isolated unit. I don't have to worry about them. They may eventually surrender. And down here, they already have 1 surrender point. They need to accumulate about 4, 2 or 5, or 3 in some cases if they're green, to surrender. Or I can try to surround them here, force retreat, and they can't cross zone of control bonds when they retreat, so they will be eliminated. So if I do attack here, it is very likely this unit will be eliminated, and likely I'll get some kind of breakthrough combat. There is so much to think about in terms of movement. I also have some reinforcements coming on the board. I need to check the reinforcement schedule. These are the 2 units I've got coming on. This is the Skorzeni's 150 Panzer Brigade. I haven't really read the reinforcement rules very closely because this is the first time my reinforcements have been scheduled. So rules, no, it's not rules, page 9 perhaps. So reinforcements receive their full movement allowance. They come on during the movement phase, which is now, pay the terrain costs. They can enter through hexes. They can't enter between 2 entry hexes. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So they come on at turn 2, which is now, and entry K, which is all the way down in the bottom corner right here. And they'll come on with 5 and 6 movement points respectively. They're going to have to shift all the way around to the right, so I'll do everything else first, and they'll pretty much move last. All right, let's get some of these guys. Look, I think it's worth, I think it may be worth removing this roadblock. At least it forces the Americans to reconsider, or getting some attack factors against these guys here. Zone of control bond, I can't move into here, but I can. This is the only step the Germans suffered on the first turn, I'll also point out. 1 step loss. I think it was an exchange result. They were happy to take an exchange result to eliminate the American defenders. I'm just checking when replacements happen as well. Was there other rules that I skimmed by night turn and replacements? Okay, so there's a mini night turn and replacements take place during that night turn. That's pretty straightforward. I do remember it was pretty easy. Okay, so geez, let's get these guys across the bridge and somewhere. Tactical movement, here we go. These guys can cross the river and then move in here. So they'll be in a position to do nothing, sorry. Tactical movement. I'll move the 40 units first. I don't think, so this is the thing, if I clear this roadblock, if I try to get this back road valley behind Wiltz, which they did historically, this is horrible terrain. It's very expensive to move through anyway. It's going to cost even, motorized unit even on these roads, 2 movement points per hex, I think. Infantry a little bit quicker. Infantry, it only costs them 1 movement point. So these guys could probably look to do something. But getting across here would be probably more important. Yeah, again, five defense factors there. Let's try and clear a road through here. So I'm just going to shift them across. They may look to exploit that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe it's the correct movement. So they can get up to the front. I've forgotten where they were, and if I've moved them correctly. Did I add up the points across correctly there? These guys will move from ZOC to ZOC. I'm going to leave those guys in Clairvaux for now. Try and punch a hole through here, maybe. These guys cost 6 movement points to move the primary road. That's a primary road, so that's only 4.5 to get to there. 4.5. 5. 4.5. And they basically got to stop there. It's plus 2 movement points there. So 4.5. I can't move to those light woods. So they've got to stop there with 4.5. That's ridiculous. Really expensive just to cross the bridge. There's traffic jams preventing me from moving any further. Oh, wow. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got to stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got to stop there. This is, yeah, the cost of movement. They'll follow up. All they can do. Okay, these guys, with all these traffic jams happening here, I'd like to move Panzer. Some of these guys elsewhere to another bridge somewhere. The next bridge is all the way over here. These are occupied. These are extremely costly. They're all costly. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll get in line. This is truly a traffic jam. All right, they're done. These guys. All right, what are we going to do in the center here? Leaving Clairvaux for now. Can't move on Troy Vergiers. Maybe I can sort of punch a hole through here. Okay, let's try and do that. 1, 2. Tactical movement. 1, 2. Yeah, let's move to attack these guys. The bridge here. That's going to be tough odds. It's going to be 2 to 1 odds here, which isn't great, unless I can move these guys instead. maybe 2.5, 3.5. Yeah, they can do that. So they'll go, it's 2.5, 3.5, 4, 5.5, 6 to get there, to get better odds in that combat. So I've got combat taking place here, combat here, and these guys, risking them being perhaps no longer isolated to try and eliminate them. So perhaps I'll bring some more units because I'm not going to attack that there. So I'll bring these units up to here to join that attack. In fact, if I go zone of control to zone of control, I don't know what they're doing there. How do they even get there? That's maybe a mistake. They are, yeah, it's a mechanized vehicle type unit. They shouldn't have been in the forest. I don't know how they got there. I think they crossed the bridge last turn. So I'll move them back and I'll attack across the river. Okay, what else have we got going on here? We've got some units behind the lines. Let's move our forward units first, and we could move on to some V. It's 5 defense factors. As I said, I've only got 6 units here, and there's not a lot else I can do. So these guys, it's 2.5 to here. They can move up to some V and stop. They can't into the woods. 2.5 to move here would cost them 2.5, 3.5, 3.5. I can't. That costs 3 movement points to move there. So I think they'll just move straight to some V and stop. Tactical movement here. These guys 1, 2 to get across there. And then I guess 1, 2. I can't even enter the bottleneck hex. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll really try and damage that artillery. Tactical movement 1, 2. I'll move up against the river. I'll move up against the river. Army boundaries here. I can't move across that army boundary. My kingdom's the road. Yes, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. And these guys go 1, 2. Stop there. Yeah, no, actually no, they'll stay there. They'll stay right where they are. So now over to the first SS Panzer Corps. And again, looking to chip off the edge, the southern edge of this ridge. I'm not going to push up here or around here. I'm just trying to skirt around the edges of these American positions here. Somehow. Maybe if I can knock off this position here. I can't threaten the cav, I can't get into position. I can have 2 different formations attacking a hex. So these guys, the Fallschirmjäger, can join this attack on this American artillery here. I need to double check the parenthetical defense factors. It means something. defense factors indicates unit may not receive DCBs, defense combat benefits. So this artillery here doesn't get the benefit of the terrain or the village. They'll just have a defense factor of 2. But keep in mind, all these attackers are halved across the river, so it's basically looking at 3, 4, 5, 9 to 2. 4 to 1 odds is decent. There's no artillery in range though, which is unfortunate. Yeah, okay, so let's try and chip off the edge of this position here. So these guys will move up, and I'll just shift the artillery up. They can move 1 hex, that's all, and still fire. These guys can move quite a lot. 1, 2, 2. This is a shame that artillery still exists there. 2. Maybe if I do a really good attack, it'll give me a breakthrough type of combat, and I can knock those off as well. So 1, 2, 3. They'll join the attack as well. What else have we got behind the lines here? Volkswerfer cannot shift over. Sorry, I thought it was a road there. That's the west wall. These guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can probably see I'm trying to get this exploitation combat here. Breakthrough, bonus advance, extra combat round. Now, Comfort Piper. There's a special unit. You can see this stack here. As I mentioned, they get this free bonus knight turn without needing to place a knight marker. I'm just checking. Yep, they can move in the PM turn as well. They may use any German unit they're stacked with at the end of the night movement phase to assist them in night combat. Okay, cool. So they can move and fight, and then they can move and fight again. So 6, 7, 5. Let's bring them into the fight somewhere, somehow. Well, if I shift an armoured unit over to there, I think that gives me 1, 2, 3. Like a second extra infantry there. Stacking is a bit confusing. No more than 2 units are allowed in a hex, with the exception that 2 single-step silhouetted tank units from the same division count as a single unit. Oh, okay, so I can have 2 tank units, but not 2 infantry. And they can just move up to there, perhaps. And maybe I'll try and get an attack on the edge here. So if I can get 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 4. Can I get these guys somehow into there as well for the same route? It's not the best for Comfort Piper, but I'm trying to knock off this unit here. And this army unit can go 1, 2. It's water terrain, so they can't get there. But if I do, oh yeah, I can do a ZSC to ZSC, 1, 2, 3 and a half. So attacks taking place here, hoping to get that breakthrough exploitation. A lot of artillery in this area. These units can still move one movement point. They'll move 1, and they will move 1. There's no, they have to kind of go back. I also have my artillery that was out in the north here. They're in their prime movers. They're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, shifting them to the southern side of this line. Pretty confident the Germans, good defense factors here in good terrain. I mean, if the Americans really want to try to counterattack around Monschau on the northern side of Elsenborn Ridge, they can try to do so. Good luck to them. And then we have, of course, any of these reinforcements arriving. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really shifting again to the southern side of that line, and 5, that'll make it 6 over there. Now this is a special unit that can potentially ignore enemy zones of control. They roll the die. On a 1 to 3, I think they succeed. 4 to 6, they fail. And there are also rules for them to sort of ambush enemy units. I think that's all my movement complete. I could move. I think I'll move them. they're in range anyway. I'm not too concerned about that. These guys will hopefully still be isolated. I took a few risks there, but let's see how things go. Now my phone battery is running flat, so I might have to stop this pretty soon, but see how we go. All right, that's the movement phase. Rally phase, remove disrupted markers from German units. There are none. Combat phase. Let's start way out in the south here. We've got all these, what are they? Sorry, 7th Army factors. 2 different formations. So, yeah, I've got 212 and 276 division joining together. You're allowed a max 2. Got 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 on 4, which is 6 to 1, with my Volks artillery down here, there in range 4, which gives me 5 to 1 odds. No armor, no other sort of CRT column shifts. I could spend 2 artillery units to provide support, but it's not a critical combat. It's not one that I really want to burn a lot of artillery on. You only get, normally you'd only get to reflip 3 artillery, so I don't want to spend too much on this sort of minor attack out in the flanks. Defender, yeah. All right, let's roll. 5 to 1. 5 isn't great. 5 to 1, 5 is a firefight. The attacker can either take an engage result or immediately roll again. Look, the problem is none of my units give beneficial modifiers to that firefight table. And there's a decent risk that I'll suffer as a result. So I'm just going to put an engaged marker there. Not overly concerned about that combat. This one here, probably more important, 12 to 4, 3 to 1 odds with my Volks artillery, brings up to 4 to 1, a more important combat. Oh God. And a 6 gives me an FF plus 1. All right, so once again, same as FF. And once again, the Germans don't have any decent lead units to push that firefight. 20, yeah, look, they need a 1 or less. It's a plus 1, so you're looking at best, a DR2, and I need much better than that at a great risk of suffering as a result. Yeah, I can't get a D1 result. DR2 wouldn't do much, they just push back a bit. Over here, we have 10 factors on 5, 2 to 1, 3 to 1. This is a relatively low odds combat. And I rolled another 5, which is an FF plus 1. So another engage marker. Look, the first turn, German combat went really well. This turn, 3 bad results in a row. Let's shift our attention up here. We have a lot of combat factors here. 10, 16. No armored units to lead. 16 on 4. Okay, so I've got 4 to 1. No artillery to in range support, so it's just 4 to 1. I'm going to change dice. 4 to 1. 6 is an FF1. Another engage marker. That's terrible. Oh wait, I have an elite unit there. Doesn't really matter, does it? I could lead with that elite unit to give me a -1 modifier on the firefight, but then they'd suffer a step loss. And it's a +1, -1. Surely the balance of rolls have kind of evened out. Let's have a firefight result. So I'm leading with this unit, which is, I think, elite. I think the red indicates maybe I'm wrong here, sorry. All units are elite veteran. A red box around the defense factor means it's elite. Yep, that's elite. So I'm leading with an elite unit, which gives me a -1 result to the fire table, but it's a +1, -1. So it works out even. What I roll is pretty much what I get. Yeah, so let's try and roll low for a change. So that's just horrible. They suffer a step loss, and we have an engaged result. So we lost an elite unit just to get what result we would have had anyway at the start. Oh, geez, horrific turn for the Germans. Okay, shifting our attention along to here now. Actually, let's start here, perhaps. No, we'll do this one first. So we've got 8, 13 to 4, 3 to 1, no artillery, 3. 3 to 1, 3 is an FF result. No. Not a firefight. Let's lead with, oh God. These are both green. This is our only non-green unit. So let's lead with this unit. A 4 gives us an A1, DR2. So DR2, they retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2, they become disrupted, sorry. And I get a regular advance, which is 1 hex in any direction. Mechanized units can advance 2 hexes. 1 hex in any direction, move against there. We'll move to block their kind of retreat, and yeah, I'll move up there to kind of pin those Americans in there. I don't know if that's the best advance anyway. Right, these guys here have so attack factors, they're halved, but I think it's either per unit or per hex. So basic rules of combat. Combat modifies halving. When halving, always halve by individual unit, not stack and round up. Okay, so halve by unit, not stack. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's not bad. 12 to 4 is 3 to 1. With artillery support is 4 to 1. Really want to finish these guys off. 5 to 1. Got to clear this bridge. 5 to 1 odds. 5 to 1, 4. 5 to 1, 4 gives us a DR2. All right. And they're out of supply. Does their supply status affect their retreat? Supply penalties, combat. If they're attacking, movement. No, only if they're defending against. Yes, it's shifted. It should be 6 to 1, 4, which is a DR3. Slight difference. So retreat paths. They should have a valid retreat path because they're not locked by ZOCs. If I would have kept that ZOC locked in, they'd be eliminated. Rookie error. The retreat's pretty okay. The first hex of a retreat may enter a vacant hex in an EZOC. So the first hex can go there. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3. And they are, well, still disrupted and out of supply. But I'm sure the supply will be regained because I pushed them back to friendly areas. So D3 now gives me a bonus advance. Now bonus advance is slightly better. A bonus advance lets me move 2 hexes in any direction. Mech units can use a road bonus for 3. Now let's test these. What are they called? The Uran Bridge. On 1 to 4, it's blown. Oh my god, this has just been a horrific turn for the Germans. First turn, everything went right. This turn, everything's gone wrong. Uran Bridge, 7.8 in first time I attempt to move across it, or attack, I'm sorry. A combat unit. Yeah, so it is blown. They can't advance across there. But I can move 2 spaces in any direction. So I can move around towards this bridge or shift to this bridge. So let's go 1, 2, and we'll threaten the Americans there. And 1. I'll stop there. Not great. So many barriers to this advance. Okay, we are now around here and we are attacking across the river. On that artillery, we've got 4, they're halved, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then full strength over here. Now, okay, so in I think second and third edition, there are rules that limit your attack factors to 18. It's not in the first edition rules. I've checked and checked. I can't find it. Maybe I've missed it, but as far as I'm aware, there are no attack factor limitations. So I've got, what did I say there? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 19, 26 on 2. 26 on 2. Not going to use the artillery. And that's when I roll the 1. I really don't need it. So that's a D1. They're eliminated. It is the first American unit eliminated in this turn. I get a bonus advance and breakthrough combat, which is exactly what I wanted from that. So breakthrough advance, 2 hexes. Mech units can use roads. Can't blow bridges on this first or second turn, so I can bonus advance any direction, 2 hexes. They'll move into there. These guys will. I might just get 1 moving along this road, 2 to there to kind of lock those Americans in. They can, with a breakthrough advance, 1 stack can participate in another combat. I'm just wondering, do I really want to clear out this road instead? They can participate in this combat or they can participate in this combat. I'm pretty confident this will succeed, so I'm going to shift them up here and they can get a bonus combat. So there'll be 17. Oh wait, they'd be halved because they're in a forest. 17. Yeah, they can't enter the defender's hex, but they can attack into it. So it'll be 17 halved to 8, 9 on 4, 2 to 1. Not great odds. So instead of that, I'm going to just move 1 up, move 2 around, and lend their support to this combat to really help as much as possible out here. They are still halved because they can't enter the hex from here. So it'd be 12 halved to 6 plus 9, 15, 20, 24. I'll just do 24 on 4, which is 61? 61 odds, and I'll throw in some artillery as well. 7 to 1. 7 to 1, 5 gives me a DR3. So they have to go, they lose their defense. 1, 2, 3, they are disrupted. And it is a bonus advance, 2 hexes in any direction. So let's go 1, 2 with the Fallschirmjäger. 1, 2. Let's put these guys up. Piper. So he'll go there. 1, 2. I don't haven't opened a road to anywhere. There's no breakthrough. Look, yeah. Americans everywhere. Just kind of scattered around. All right, last combat for the turn. Will my battery last? My battery's about to go flat. So here we go. They've already fought. So we've got 7 plus 6, 13, 20. 23 on 4. 23 on 4 is 5 to 1. With an artillery is 6 to 1. 6 to 1, 4 gives me a DR3. So 1, 2, 3, and they lose their defense. DR3 gives me a bonus advance, 2 hexes in any direction. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And let's move up the line as well. So that is it. That was just a horrible turn. Everything went almost perfectly for the Americans on the first turn. Everything went almost perfectly for the Americans on this second turn. That's movement done basically. We moved to the rally phase, removed disrupted markers. Sorry, my mistake. Combat phase, traffic marker phase. The Americans don't have their traffic markers yet. They come out next turn. So we move to supply and isolation. And I think everything's okay. I can't see anything unusual, so I'll leave it there. That is the end of the second German turn. We're moving to the American turns, and I'll do a report once I've run through that. But for now, battery's almost flat. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you're all well. See ya.